So we're making a video for our Developing Worlds class, and right now we're talking about the third issue that the UN came out with for developing countries to kind of raise their standards, which is to promote gender equality. And we watched a TED Talk from Cheryl Wood-Dunn, who is in charge of the Half the Sky program, who is trying to help developing worlds realize the potential of women around the world. And for this one, she told the different stories of girls who have been either pulled out of education because their family didn't have enough money or their circumstances were really bad. So she's just trying to alert the world that there is a way that we can help those girls.
One of the topics that she talked about in her program was the importance of educating women and the effect that that can have on not only their community but their country. And so some of the pluses or some of the benefits that she listed of educating women, one was it tends to decrease overpopulation in countries that tend to have way too many people in a concentrated area. If we can educate women and help them understand the implications that overpopulation can have on their families and the community, they are more likely to make conscious decisions before having kids. Something else that education does for women is it increases more wise spending habits. They're more aware of the effects that their decisions have on their economy, the economy of their family, and their village or community. Education also helps them make better use of their resources. They know how to use them more effectively, how to not waste them quite as much, how to help those around them with their resources. And lastly, and probably the most important thing that comes from educating women, is it increases the chance that her children will also become educated. And that can have a ripple effect on generations. If the mother or the woman in a certain circumstance can teach her family the importance of becoming educated, they will most likely take that with them as they grow older and use that to help their own future families. And overall, that should over time help the community as a whole.
Is that what she was saying, that when she said women are the solution, it's people like not in the U.S., not necessarily people who like donate money, because these people have a certain mindset. Like there's this girl who had a fistula infection, so she would defecate like just freely, and people didn't know what was going on because they didn't know medical issues. So they left her to die in a hut that they ripped the door off of to get eaten by hyenas. Like this is going on in the world right now, and if they knew like what was going on, she wouldn't have had to be laid out to die. But she realized that she could be the solution to her own fate rather than just accepting the cultural baggage that was put on her. And she dragged herself to kind of a missionary, and he helped her. And so she was able to get out of that situation and put herself kind of in a more modern world. So these women with the traditional perspectives, they don't really look around to see what else they can do to help a situation like that. So this woman in the Middle East, she was beat by her husband, and her mother-in-law was kind of against her, but she decided also to rise up from her situation and start her own clothing company in which she was able to hire her unemployed husband. So it's not women from the U.S. that necessarily is the solution, or men, or anything. It's the women in these countries that can be the solution. So if they change their mindset and kind of abandon their more their kind of negative cultural traditions that can have a negative impact on their life, and they can go on and be modernized and learn their self-worth. So that's what I think in the end, that's the solution, is how we can change these women's mindsets, and that they can change the future for themselves and for their children and for everyone in their country.
Problems. Let me tell you about problems. We have women's rights problems. There was once a great man by the name of Spider-Man, and he taught me this one lesson, that with great power comes great responsibility. And that's what we need in America. Well, no, that's what we need. Let's put American. I'll tell you a little story about a man who had a goat. And this goat's name was Henry. And Henry was a good goat. Lots of goat milk. Gross, but still good. And Henry one day was shipped to India, I believe. Henry was shipped to Africa. And there was this girl, and she had to carry water from the water place to her house, I'm assuming. And her parents were like, well, why does she need an education? What was her, I don't want to say her name, it was like Bababoo. Bababoo and Henry became friends when Henry got to Africa. So Bababoo took Henry home. Henry's the goat, remember? And Henry had twins, right? Because Henry wasn't Henry, it was a girl's version of Henry. If I had a goat, I'd name it Henry. Alright, so this goat that's a female had twins. Don't ask how. Sold the twins. So the twins got sold, and the family made money, and the goat made goat milk, which gave the family money. Family had enough money to send Bababoo to school. So Bababoo went to school. She was like super smart. And so on this like ultimate test, like Africa style, like not like Survivor, but like an actual test, she did really good and got a scholarship to a college in
On the East
Connecticut.
Coast, yeah.
Yeah, all right. In Connecticut. And she did really good there. I don't know what
She graduated.
she graduated.
I don't know what she became, but
She graduated in being smart. Some people do that. And she got a job. I'm assuming that's what I would hope would happen. She got a job and sent money back to her family, who then paid the money to get all of Henry's cousins shipped to Africa. All because of one goat. And that's the story of Henry and the Bababoo.